And let me say this in English so you can understand what I'm saying. I have translation. No, I know you have translation, but I just want to make sure you get it right. There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremists and terrorists coming out of Europe because of the lack of decision making, trying to be politically correct, or assuming that they know the Middle East and they know Islam and they know the others far better than we do. And I'm sorry, but that's pure ignorance.
The following video is from Modi Speaks, and she again is coming at a different group of people. It seems this time she's coming after Islamic migrants.
Hey guys, my name is Modi and you are welcome to Modi Speaks. So honestly, I just want to stop talking about this topic. I really do. Because aside from the fact that it's been getting me a lot of hate messages, I mean, I'm just a girl talking about an issue on the internet, an issue that is worth discussing.
So this tells me a lot about how she looks at herself. I think she looks at herself as just some random person who is putting videos on the internet, and it's just like, hey, I'm just trying to make some videos and stuff like that. But the things that she's saying are so radical and crazy that it actually is confusing to me why she says this. By the way, this excuse can be made by anybody. Nick Fuentes can say I'm just a guy. I can say I'm just a guy. Everybody can say I'm just a dude. So don't come after me. But if you say hateful things, believe it or not, you will get hate back. Also, does she think the hate is unjust? Of course, she thinks it's unjustified, but
people still think that I should be bullied into silence. So aside from the fact that this very topic has been getting me all sorts of disgusting hate messages on my email, I am also highly offended that the people who are in the closest proximity with this dangerous agenda seem to be oblivious or nonchalant or even accommodating of this agenda.
translation, the people are not as radical as you when it comes to being bothered by some people's cultures, and therefore you have come to radicalize them and change everything they think so that they can be less accommodating to people that you don't like, people who probably look and sound like you.
That I'm talking about. From my point of looking at this issue, it appears to me that the innocent people who are in direct proximity with this issue I'm talking about do not even understand what being passive and lukewarm about this kind of topic can cause them. So
Counterpoint, maybe they're not lukewarm or passive. Maybe they just don't see any real issues going on right now. This is the problem with some of the people who come, especially who come from other places and then try to invent problems for certain people. I mean, she's literally saying the people are not bothered, so they should like get angry about certain things. This is not how you should run things. This is not how you should talk to people, especially if they haven't identified a problem themselves.
their lack of zeal to protect their culture and fight for their country makes me really demoralized and sad and wish to stop opening their eyes and leave them to their devices.
Wait, aren't you the same person who made an entire video that was demoralizing and looking down at the African cultures? So how can you be so, oh, we need to protect these people, they don't want to protect their own culture. Meanwhile, you're going and trying to actively destroy your own. That means that you are a hypocrite.
But videos like these ones we're going to be reacting to today pushes me to cast away my grievances and keep pushing the truth because it is extremely important at this point. So this message is going to you, bona fide and traditional Westerners.
The bona fide traditional Westerners, I assume you mean the racists, right? Like the ones that you like Nick Fuentes and those type of people. Because most Westerners do not have a problem with 90% of the stuff that you talk about on your channel.
I don't mean those type of Westerners who think they are more Western than real Westerners. You know, the type that says, I'm more Italian than you are. That type, okay? Even when they look nothing like traditional Italians.
So what she means is she's a nativist. In other words, she means that anyone who is not of the race which we associate with the certain places, those people can never become truly part of that region. Basically, she means white people. Let's just be honest. She means that white people should be protecting something that she literally said she was disappointed in white people not discriminating against other people. And right now she's showing a level of discrimination by saying that there's real Westerners, meaning people who are white, and then there's fake Westerners, which are anyone who's not white.
Foreigners made citizens kind, with different conflicting cultures and religions that run contrary to traditional Western values. I'm not talking about those people. I mean, no matter how
Okay, so there's a huge glaring problem in this video, which is that means you're not a Westerner. You're literally from Africa and you're not a Westerner. And you said that these people are passive, meaning that they're not doing things the way that you want to do them. So this means that you are on the complete other side. So you're contradicting yourself. You're saying if you're not Western, then don't listen to this video, but you're not Western, so what qualifies you to make this video?
long I live in China, I will never become Chinese. I can become a citizen of China, but that doesn't make me Chinese.
Actually, it does. Believe it or not, being Chinese, I mean, I know a lot of people think being Chinese is a race, but there's several different types of races in China. If you take other places, some people call them Asian. They've got all kinds of words for the race. But if you have a passport from China, if you were born in China, you're a black person born in China, raised in China. If you look at your identity certificate, if you look at your birth certificate, it'll write Chinese, or however Chinese people say the word Chinese. Also, it's a false comparison because Westerner is nothing close to Chinese. Now, again, you might think that Chinese means your race, right? But, people from China are the same race as some people from Mongolia or the same race as people from Japan, but they're not Chinese. In other words, you really don't know what you're talking about. But let's say we take the word Chinese to mean people who are in China, who look Chinese and are that. You will never be that. Well, how does that relate to the West? Being West has nothing to do with race. West is not a race, believe it or not. West is not a race. It's actually, if we put it down, it's a direction. The opposite of it is the East. And so if you ask the question directly, can black people, Middle Easterners, all those people become Westerners? It's as simple as can people who live in the West become Easterners? This, by the way, is beautifully captured by Damian Marley in his song Patience featuring Nars, which he's basically summing up what this girl is doing. Years ago, I forgot when this song came out, like 10 years ago, put the worst on display so the world can see, and that's all they'll ever show. So the ones in the West will never move east and feel like they could be at home. They get tricked by the beast when the monster is fully grown. By the way, perfect line. By the way, this whole song of Damian Marley, one of my favorite songs ever. My favorite line in it is some of the smartest dummies can't read the language of Egyptian mummies, and I fly to the moon and can't find food for the starving tummies. Pay no mind to the youth, because not like the future depends on it.
Now, moving on, I just want to clarify that this video is not an attack on anyone, okay, or any group of people, but this
Well, it better not be. If you put it that way, then it better not be an attack. You can't just say that. I can't just say, hey, I'm not going to do anything bad to you. And then I run up and start kicking you and stuff. And you go, hey, but you're kicking me. And then I go, no, but I said in the beginning that this is not an attack. Either you attack or you don't attack. Prefacing it or whatever, it doesn't help. if you're gonna do it.
It's an issue that needs to be discussed, especially following the recent events we've been witnessing unfolding in the West. The religion of peace is staunchly launching.
Okay, so already there was a fast attack in like 5 seconds after you said you're not going to attack. Putting Islam as the religion of peace in quotation marks already puts you in a pretty odd place.
Their agenda in the West. And today, we're going to be diving into some of it. Now, let's check out the first video.
Okay, so that I don't come across as a naive person here, I have to first state, yes, there are some entities in Islam that are trying to spread their agenda to the West, but there are a lot more entities and who are trying to succeed in spreading the Western ways to the East, and they've succeeded in many ways. They've dominated some of the places and areas for years now. And I'm not talking about generally just putting in I'm talking about wars, I'm talking about all of that, trying to make sure that the East becomes the West. Again, I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just literally saying that's what's happening. And if you care about people protecting their own cultures, then you must think about that first and foremost.
Now, this is coming from a mosque in.
Wait, did I miss it? What exactly happened? All I heard was a man beautifully singing. What was the point of that? What was the point of that video? That there's people sing sometimes? Did I miss it? Was there a UFO in the video? Did something bad happen? I mean, I hope you're not making a noise pollution problem, because then, we can really get into the West and some of the things that they have that cause major noise pollution, which would not be allowed in some eastern parts.
New York City. So, my dear Americans, you are not safe either. Now, this is what everyone in New York has to wake up to. They blast these Islamic calls to prayer 5 times a day.
Wow. However, will they survive? You mean the quiet people of New York have to listen to gentle singing 5 times a day, as opposed to the silence that is typically in New York? They have to take a break from, lying in a building and then all of a sudden hearing.
One of the things I always notice about New York is it's a very noisy city. But when I say noisy, it has a certain charm to it. And people are running around, people are walking very quickly. You may hear, I haven't edited out the background sounds here, so you may hear a lot of noise. So we can call this the hustle and bustle of the city. And that term hustle and bustle means that there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of sounds, there's a lot of noise.
Please stop. Please stop. And also, there's people in New York blasting music. There's like stores that, come on, stop. New York is so loud that they literally have created on nyc.gov ways, like maps and stuff, to make you avoid loud places. And there's people who report on these things and be like, yo, don't go to this building. They play this type of music all the time. There's literally videos, you can find them all over YouTube, called NYC Unbearable Music, which, by the way, some of the people listening to this music are literally like down the street, and you can hear the music as if the person is playing it right in front of you.
The earliest one sounds around 5 a.m. in the morning, and I wonder how this is even legal. I mean, don't get me wrong, okay? I support freedom of religion, but 5 loud blastings of this a day, the earliest one starting from 5 a.m., is definitely too much, guys.
Yep. Better to hear the collective sound of like a couple hundred people talking, people hooting, loud drills, people hitting things. That's way better. And I'm not even defending the noise. I mean, if you want things to be quiet, that's fine, but you should make everything quiet. Cities in general are pretty annoying. That's why rich people don't live there. Well, at least they live just outside the cities.
It is. And I know that some of my audience may be Muslims, so I want you to tell me if this is right in your eyes, especially considering the fact that this is a foreign land, okay?
I think this is like a different question that she's asking, whether it's right or wrong. I think that's like a completely different question. You put this as it's an invasion of Western society. Some people playing some music from a mosque is not an invasion of the society. Saying is it right or wrong to play loud music? I can argue that any time, it doesn't matter if it was Islamic music. It they could be playing Beethoven for all I care. It would be pretty annoying. I mean, I prefer Islamic music over Beethoven, so that doesn't help with my point. But they could play anything. You could play hip hop. They could play whatever. It would be annoying if you're walking down the street, especially if you're trying to do something silently. Which again, I will say, you're probably gonna have to pick a better spot than that specific area that looked loud itself.
A land where the owners are not used to this type of disturbances. So, according to your own judgment, please, is this all right? Would Americans be allowed to blast the amazing grace from their loudest church speakers in places like Pakistan?
So she said two things here. One of them is extremely incorrect, and the other one is moderately correct. But the first thing she said was a land where people are not used to these type. Do you know where America is? Like, are you not in America right now? Are you not in the West right now? Do you know these people have loudspeakers? They have all kinds of. I don't even know. Like you can't say that these people do not have loud noises and loud music that they can blast in the middle of the day and do. They literally have movies about annoying neighbors that never stop blasting music, which by the way happens everywhere where there's freedom. Now, in the case of can you blast loud music in Pakistan of a religious nature that is Christian? Okay, so here's the deal. Let's pick some Islamic countries. So, in some Islamic countries, Christianity is allowed, and you're allowed to do, whatever you want as long as it follows the law. But in a lot of Islamic countries, you're not allowed, if you have a mosque in a public residential area, you're not allowed to crank your music to the highest. It doesn't matter if you're in a mosque, you're not allowed to crank your music to the highest. And then, people around the residential area just be like, oh no, we have to just deal with that. In Pakistan, loudspeakers and things like that are seen as a nuisance and they're not allowed. Now, I'm not saying there's nobody doing it, breaking the law, not caring, but whether you're a mosque or not, you're not allowed to cause unnecessary loud stuff. Now, there's sirens and stuff like that, which are used to direct, but that's another completely different thing. But even the stuff from the mosques that cut into the ears of people are banned. Now, again, if the question was a problem of noise pollution, then I promise you nobody would disagree with you. There are several different laws that have been passed since the early 2000s in Pakistan to try and deal with noise pollution coming from mosques. Also, one that was called, I forgot, it was something like hi-fi, whatever, Indian hi-fi law, whatever, which prevents people from cranking up their music in the mosques, because that's something they do. They like play it on YouTube and then they crank it up to the top and it becomes unbearable. Again, if the question is, should they turn down this? Would this be allowed in their country? No, it wouldn't be allowed in their country. They don't want people who live in residential areas, doesn't matter if they're Muslim or not, don't want to be assaulted by music.
In fact, are there even churches in Pakistan or Afghanistan and co? I honestly think that
She literally picked the worst country as an example, Pakistan, which, by the way, is a democracy. Pakistan is literally has churches everywhere. Women have a lot of freedoms. I mean, one of the things that grew. I mean, if you've ever watched documentaries about Pakistan, I like watching documentaries around the world. If you ever watch documentaries about Pakistan, you'll find out that in Pakistan there is a huge raging debate right now between men's rights activists and feminists, and the men's rights activists are talking about the freedoms that the women have in Pakistan, that they're allowed to go to get jobs, they're allowed to do all kinds of stuff that are not typically thought to be Islamic or whatever in the way of perception or whatever. But again, this comes back to stereotypes. People just think, oh, Islamic countries, they're just all these places where you're just dominated. So it's like, you have no idea. You have no idea the diversity there is in all of these countries. Now, are the people in Pakistan Islamic? Yes. But they're not, they're still human. The only reason she picked Pakistan is because she probably thought it was this deep state where it's going to be super Islamic. If you wanted to pick one, you should have picked Saudi Arabia, which even there I showed you that they put laws against loud music coming from mosques. Saudi Arabia is a great example where active churches are not there, active Christian churches are not there. But again, if you know anything about Islam, you know that Christians are generally considered brothers of the religion of Islam. So they're allowed to function in most Islamic areas, but they have to pay like a Christian tax and all of that other stuff.
this is simply a show of dominance. Yeah, these mosques are showing their people back home that they are taking over the West. It is
What are you talking about? The example you gave, Pakistan, has accepted so many things about the West. The example you gave, Pakistan, there's nobody you're showing. A lot of them, they love the West. I don't know what you're talking. It's so, again, this comes down to people picking radicals on either side and being like, yeah, they're showing the West. Yeah, we're gonna show the West. Who do you think is living in Pakistan going, yeah, you showed them? No one cares, except if you're some kind of extremist or radical. No one cares. This is just people who own a mosque. To them, they can listen to their own music. It's not even about mosques. It's just about people who can blast music. And that's what happens. If you don't put in laws, that's what's going to happen.
as simple as that, my guys. And the saddest part is that the West allows it to happen.
Go on YouTube right now and you can hear people blasting like loud hip hop music, loud salsa music, loud all of that. They allow it to happen because they allow all kinds of music to happen.
Even makes room for it. Completely changes their culture and laws to accommodate it. This is
No, they did not change their laws in order to accommodate anything. And again, I can understand from the point of view of it's making loud noise. Go to those Islamic countries that you think are going to appreciate people making loud noise. Start a mosque in that area, especially the areas of important people, and start blasting Islamic music 24/7 and see if they're going to go, oh, thank you. Like, do you not realize that people are human? Like, they have ears too. They don't want to hear loud noises all day. I'll give you an example. In South Africa, because you can play annoying music all day in any other place, there's people who are Islamic who blast their music. Has it changed society forever? Nope. Why? Because you'll stop hearing Islamic music from one side of the corner in the city, and then you'll start hearing some African music, drums, loud as hell in the other part. Then you'll start hearing European music, you'll start hearing Western music, you'll start hearing, because that's what happens when you allow stuff like that.
what the West is doing. And mind you, these calls are all blasted in Arabic, a language foreign to the United States of America.
Yeah, and people in the Middle East listen to American music in English, a land foreign to the Middle East. People listen to music in different parts of the world that are different. I don't get it. Like, what's the point of that version of it? Is it just like Islam bad?
and to her people. So what happens when these calls to prayer are replaced with calls to jihad?
And herein lies the problem. If you don't know, the people who go full jihad and all that other stuff, those people are more of a threat to the Middle East than they are to the West. The people in the Middle East don't like those type of people. They hate them more than you could ever hate them. You know why? Go do Syria, go to certain places, Yemen, go to other those places and ask them. By the way, right now in Ethiopia, ISIS is starting to have a foothold. It's starting to grow again because they pick certain places of the world. You know what the Muslims there, the majority, say there? They're a nuisance. They want them stamped out by the government. The government's not doing enough. You're living in an imaginary world. And are we back to like 2004? Like when people were just going crazy over Islam? Like, no, most people want to live in peace. Yes, most religions love peace. They hate war. War tends to be a situation that comes from people seeking power rather than people's religions forcing them to do something. And by the way, you said you weren't going to attack anyone's religion. This is a direct attack. Most people aren't trying to do what you're talking about.
How are you going to know, Americans, until it is too late?
Well, to be fair, they are in the West, so they could probably pull out their phones. You said the music's pretty loud. Pull out their phone, stand in the loud area, and press on Google Translate or any of those. There's a whole bunch of apps for it, and then they can translate it for them. Another way is to learn Arabic. But of course, to you, that's like destroying the fabric of America, even though America is like literally inventing things to translate other people's languages. They want to accommodate other people because they know they live in a global world. And somehow you live in the Western world, even though you're not from the West. And you said, unless you're from the West, you shouldn't speak for the West.
Because it will come. So prepare accordingly. Now, guys,
No, it will not come. Please do me a favor. Anybody who thinks Islam or radical Islam or the crazy version of Islam where they kill people, if you think that version of Islam is what people believe, just please go watch a documentary about the victims of ISIS and go see if the people in the Middle East and Middle Eastern countries, if they love the idea of a full-scale Islamic war. Don't go read up polls or whatever, because a lot of those polls are janky as hell, and they're of people from England or whatever who, you know, they have no consequence and no reality of what's going on in the proper places. What is it in the Middle East? I'm talking about go look for yourself and see if those people say, yes, I want to live in a place where there's total jihad.
will be cutting out the next clip because I know that this particular platform, YT, will definitely punish me if I add this video here. Mind you, I am currently under watch. They gave me a warning and some restrictions for 3 months. So I just have to dumb down myself until October 25th, okay? But I will
Damn, bro, you radical as hell. You're out here getting warnings from YouTube. What are you putting out there?
be posting the raw uncensored version on my X account, so you can follow me on X now to watch the complete video. I will also try posting it on my Rumble account. Rumble is a bit complicated though. It takes me longer to post a single video, like it takes hours.
Why are you using racial slurs on your own people? This is not good.
Hours and hours and hours for me to post a single video, and that is very frustrating for me. But anyway, I'm still looking for ways to navigate the app or the sites, and maybe I hope Rumble works out for me. I'm still trying to learn it better.
Okay, so I have to first state that I do believe in freedom of speech. Let me start there. So I don't think that she should be censored or whatever, but I do think that she should get some sense. You know, I think she should start putting things together in her mind so that she doesn't. You see, there's two angles here. One, either she's a grifter and she's basically saying horrible things to get money, or two, she actually believes the stuff that she's saying, which is scarier to me. Makes me think who brought her to this situation.
Now,
What the hell was that video? So some kid, by the way, why is he doing it in the middle of the street? It's kind of weird. That video is odd as hell. What are you talking about? So a bunch of adults are like accommodating a kid. Like they're trying to be cute or whatever. You want me to find a million of those type of videos where there's like some kid doing something in front of cars in the West, and then people are just going around them? You know how many of those there are online? Have you never seen some of those videos of climate protesters literally go like getting angry as hell as people block the road? Have you never seen any of them? I mean, there's you can pick any. There's so many groups that just stand in the middle of a road and do stuff. Again, I don't think any of it is right. I don't think that kid should have been doing that in the middle of the street. That guy blocking it again is just accommodating some kid. Do I think it's right? No, that car didn't seem like he liked it. He didn't like the idea of going around. I don't believe for a second that kids can just post a mat in the middle of the street in the Middle East and the cops will be like, yeah, that's cool. You know that they probably could get arrested for like ruining the reputation of the state because there's laws like that in some of those places.
this man took his son out of the house. He took him out of the mosque. He even took him out of the sidewalk and made him directly stand in the middle of the road and conduct his prayers right there.
Yes, the guy is a weirdo, but that's him. What's that got to do with everybody else? Everybody else seemed like they're pretty annoyed.
Now the cars has to wait for him to complete his prayers. The drivers has to suspend their movements at least until he's done praying. No one single person said anything. No.
Yeah, how do you know? The video is like 30 seconds, the one you posted. And again, a lot of the people around looked annoyed. They were looking at him like, what the hell? The security is doing everything in his power to stop the person who wants to go forward, maybe to remove the person. I don't understand what the point of this video is.
Nobody ever complained either. Now, this is what I have to say. I couldn't verify the location of this incident, so I don't know if this happened at home, or abroad. Now,
Well, lucky for you, there are some people who know how to use the internet, like myself. So all I did was just say, fact checked, viral video, show traffic, stopped by young boy, and this is what popped up. Yes, they did the investigation. I'm going to link this video in there, and they showed that this video is from Dubai. You see that truck over there or that motorbike over there? That person, all they had to do was zoom in and find out exactly where the person is. By the way, I could tell by the way that most of these people were dressed and how they were carrying themselves that this place was probably not in the West. But of course, people, I don't know what's wrong with them. So this motorbike that you saw in the other video, you can see here, is written in Arabic words at the bottom. And this happened in Dubai, this incident. And in fact, the video concludes that this video was a setup or was just a recording. Now you're probably wondering who would care to find out if this viral video was like this. Well, they're using it in India as an example for why Muslims are bad. And so what they do is they repeat this video, they put it out there, they say, this is what India is becoming. The Muslims, they're disrespecting, and other people are protecting them right in front of our noses. In other words, there's an Indian version of this girl saying every single thing that this girl is saying about this video that was taken in Dubai.
If it happened in an Islamic country, then I wish them the best, because I mean, yeah, that is what they signed up for. But I also want you to know that this same thing is happening in the West.
By the way, there's a whole bunch of these videos online of people offering namaz in public, and then internet detectives have to go there and clean out the mess by showing this. I will remind you of something. I remember there was a video that I saw where there was a few people that were hurting somebody, and it was written ISIS, blah, 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 and they got hit by a car and they like flew in different directions as the car went past. So it was written something like Western hero destroy Islam or something like that. And of course, when I reverse image searched it, it was a video from Brazil of a bunch of gang members trying to attack a car and then somebody just driving through them.
We see it everywhere. In Germany, in the UK, in France, in Italy. It is everywhere in the West. This is a blatant
What's everywhere? People pulling up to like zebra crosses and laying down and, praying. Like, come on. You think that's happening everywhere?
show of triumph and dominance. It is a flex of Islamic power. It says, look, we have power over them now. They have to wait till we are done praying before they continue with their daily activities.
Yeah, again, the people you're talking about are probably extremist weirdos. Again, you're exaggerating problems that do not need to be exaggerated. There's odd people out there. There's Islamic people in many countries. In South Africa, we have a lot of Islamic people. They don't do nothing about what you're talking about. Are there radicals? Yeah, there's radicals in South Africa. The government has been tracing money that's been. Remember, I mentioned that there was that group IS that was get setting themselves up in Ethiopia. Yeah, they're getting money from around the world to pump them up. Some of it coming from South Africa, some the Congo, some America, some they're coming from, and it's being traced by different governments which are reporting on each other because no government in the world wants that group to come back.
It is a shame for Western countries. I hope the West wakes up.
So I'm gonna read what the person says in the next video that she plays because there's no way I'm playing that video. That definitely has some copywritten music. I don't know how she got away with it. You'll be excused to think this is a church, but as is the case across the UK, it's now a mosque, a masjid. Christianity is depleting. Atheism is unfulfilling. Islam is here and is here to stay. The British people, they may not like it, but in this case, with me, there's blah, 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 which is good for you. So carry on those churches for us. Keep them coming and we'll buy them in years' time and turn them into mosques. Okay, so the guy's a weirdo. Now, I want to remind you that this person is radical even for the Middle East, because there are plenty of Middle Eastern countries where not only are churches allowed, but they have every single right that every other Muslim thing has in those countries. I mean, I know the West says that they're free, they believe in freedom of religion or whatever, but if some of the African religions came in those areas and set up some of the stuff, I feel like there would be the same type of revolt as there is in it for Islam. I know some people want to pretend that it's Islam, but let's be fair, they just have a problem with foreign stuff. Now, are there idiots like some of the people that you played in the video? Yeah, there's probably people who do all kinds of silly stuff. Best way to do that is to create laws that can prevent weird people from being weird. But if you allow people to do stuff like this, I mean, the other way is for the churches to be bought back.
Oh, the great men and women of Britain are turning in their graves, okay? Crying and weeping as the country they died and bled for is rapidly turning into a different backward country. British churches are being purchased by Islamic foreigners and turned into a mosque,
which is perfectly legal. And why are those people selling it? I mean, if they want to protect it and keep it Christian, why don't they not sell it? Now, do I agree that This whole video should have just been this video. They should have just put this video out there and say, hey, for you churches out there that think you're just selling to another Christian, be careful. There's some people buying the churches and turning them into mosques. Done. Now, again, this is the West, so a lot of these churches they don't care about anyway because there's a lot of atheism in the West, and there's all kinds of things that let's not even get into those people and what they want to do with churches and taking away taxes and stuff. I personally like religion, so I like some of the privileges that religion gets, whether it's Christianity, Islam, the native African religions, whether it's ancient Egyptian religion. I actually love it when some of the Europeans try and bring back the Thor religion or any of that stuff. But I don't understand the other videos. This one kind of makes sense.
The churches in your own fatherland are now empty, and because of that, they are being converted into a mosque.
By the way, if you're into real estate and you want to make money, it seems like a good idea. If these guys are so devoted to buying churches, just build yourself a whole bunch of churches and have this guy buy them from you, since he's so dedicated.
What insult is greater than this? Tell me, your religion has been defeated by a foreign religion on British soil, on your own land, okay?
How many people are even Christian in Britain is my question. Aren't there like a stupid amount of atheists there?
Culture has been wiped to be replaced by a foreign culture. What a disappointment. The number one reason why this is happening is because the West have forsaken God.
There you go, putting in another agenda again. So how did we start this video? People who are not from the West pretending to be more Western than Westerners. Westerners are choosing to be atheists. She doesn't like that, so she has to throw in they're losing their churches because they're forsaking God. Well, if they don't want God, they probably don't care to sell the churches.
The Christians living in Western countries have totally turned away from God and His commandments. Liberalism have taken over everything. People don't go to church anymore. People don't attend church anymore.
That's right, and you're here to set them straight. You're here to remind them to be Western by following church, something that the West has turned its back on. First of all, it's not liberalism that's done that. It's literally just everybody has turned themselves against churches in any part. I understand that you probably think it's political, but a lot of people just aren't religious. And even religious people aren't that religious in the West. I'm sorry. If you want to pick places that are very religious, then the very same Middle Eastern areas that you're running away from. Think about it, some of the people who have to be Christian in some of those countries.
Last week, I told a friend of mine living in Poland, Sarakowise, okay, to send me a photo when he attends Mass that Sunday. This is the photo he sent me.
Yep. So basically, you're a foreigner trying to bring religion to the West. Sounds like you have a lot more in common with the Muslims that you're trying to criticize.
An empty church. Empty except for a handful of old people who attended. A big Catholic church. Empty. Empty. Only a handful of old people attended Mass.
Well, again, I love religion, but I also love freedom. So if people don't want to show up to church, it seems like it's their prerogative. I don't understand why you're going at them.
Now, I love how Poland is handling their immigration issues, but still, I was very disappointed in the empty church photo my friend sent me. So in this particular clip...
Damn, are we not done? Isn't that a lot of examples? What else are you going to show us?
I don't blame the religion of peace at all. No, I don't. Rather, I blame the owners of these Western countries who have turned away from God, who have stopped attending church, who have become so liberal and so distant in the ways of God that they are willing to exchange the morality that allows them to be liberal for an authoritarian theocracy that will either behead or enslave them as soon as they refuse to convert. These
I'm starting to get the point now. So you can criticize the West when is this just a weird attempt at like a religious person to try and force their ways into some because religion does do this where well some versions of religion normal people don't do this but religion does do this sometimes where they try and side with somebody they go oh yeah everything Africa is beautiful and then they're trying to infiltrate your culture so that they can push their religion. You said they shouldn't live in a theocracy. Well, if they don't want to go to church and they don't go, then they don't live in a theocracy. If you're forcing them to go to a church or you're telling them that they have to go to a church or that their country is going to turn into mush because they don't go to a church, then you are pushing for a theocracy. Again, religion is beautiful. I don't hate religion. But what you're trying to talk about here is a theocracy and you're happy about it.
mosques didn't actually invade in this case, okay? They simply filled the space left empty by a bunch of white people who have totally strayed from God.
Well, that's not exactly what the guy in the video said. He said, keep building new churches. We're going to keep taking them over. That does not sound like someone who is just filling up spaces. So again, if people didn't want to use churches and then someone who's Muslim came in and took over, I too have no problem. But, you know, where's the problem?
Stockholm is less than 1 million, right? And in Stockholm, if you have 10% Muslim, I was in the city of Malmö. Malmö is spelled with an O, but it's pronounced Malmö. And they said that if the Swedish population maintains its negative and the Muslim population maintains, Muslims have, mashallah, the average of what, 5, 6, 7 kids, right? The average, mashallah, that's a secret weapon, I say. That the prediction is, this is the halal secret weapon, guys, huh? So don't take the video and miss it. Halal secret weapon. It's not our fault we have more kids, guys. You want to do whatever you want to do. It's all halal, alhamdulillah. So if the projection continues, I was told by one of the local councillors there that within one generation, it is very likely that this city will almost be half Muslim.
Is she going to make the meme of do we need white babies? More white babies? It's pretty easy. If they want to compete, they can have a bunch of kids. But it seems like a lot of people in the West, just like a lot of people in Japan and a lot of people who live in very prosperous countries, once they get prosperous, they don't want to have kids. These very same Muslims that you're talking about who have a whole bunch of kids, believe it or not, if they have the same prosperity, they're also not going to want to have a whole bunch of kids.
Because this city is just not there. The locals are not reproducing. It's not our fault. I mean, it's not, I don't know why they're getting irritated at us. It's not our fault we're having kids, right? So
absolutely, it's not their fault. Should they be forced to not have a bunch of kids if they want to take care of children?
Muslim.
Now, to this clip, I will say nothing. Do with the information as you wish.
Yeah, which is going to be nothing. Do you think people are going to see this clip and start having a bunch of babies? That's not going to happen.
Guys, I'm so grateful for every single one of you who watches, likes, and supports me.
So for anyone who doesn't know, even in Africa, in some parts of Africa, there's still a definite fight between Islam and Christianity. And this person is bringing that fight into the West. Not bringing much of her positivity, bringing a lot of the negativity. But, you know, I guess she can make the video if she wants. Thank you for watching.